Oh, there's a fish right there. Decent fish on a chatterbait. Look at that one. Man, he's a big old humpback. He choked that thing. Well, welcome back to the channel. We are fishing this this lake in Arkansas that we've been fishing for the last month or so. Had a lot of success out here and been having a lot of fun on a chatterbait specifically. We've done a lot of content on a chatterbait. And whenever I do a lot of content on a specific type of technique, I always tend to get comments from viewers. Man, it seems like everybody's catching fish on this bait but me. Like, I'm really struggling to get bit on it. And let me tell you, that is something that you shouldn't be ashamed of, because everybody can relate to it, whether they admit it or not. They can relate to not being able to catch fish on a bait that should be just absolutely lights out. And it just comes with the territory of learning a new bait or technique. And so I've got 3 mistakes that I see people make that I think is really affecting their ability to catch fish on a chatterbait and gain confidence. And so I wanted to share those 3 mistakes with you guys, and hopefully this will help you become a more confident chatterbait angler. So let's get started. All right, so the first mistake that I see people make when they're fishing a chatterbait or learning a chatterbait or any other technique for that matter. In fact, this mistake is something that you can make on just about anything. But this mistake is not fishing or learning a chatterbait under the right conditions. You know, I'll apply it to another bait, you know, another rig, a drop shot. You don't want to learn a drop shot by fishing it in muddy water, you know, muddy, shallow water around a lot of cover. It's just not a great technique for those type of situations. Sure, if you get good at it, you can catch fish in all different types of scenarios, but those are not the conditions that you want to learn a drop shot in. And the same thing with a chatterbait. Even though it's a very effective bait in a lot of different situations, and I fish it all around the country in different conditions, there's still a set of conditions that are the perfect set of conditions for a chatterbait, and those are the conditions that you need to look out for. And really, while you're starting to try to gain confidence in this technique, only fish a chatterbait in those conditions. And there's actually 4 different things that I recommend you look for to gain confidence in a chatterbait. Number 1 is shallow water. You know, 2 to 5 foot water depth is perfect for fishing a chatterbait. Okay, it's a shallow water technique. You can fish it out deep, but shallow water is kind of key. The next thing is dirtier water. So stained to dirty water is a big part of having success on a chatterbait on a regular basis, because a chatterbait is well suited for dirty water because it has a lot of vibration and a lot of action. So that's something I always look for. Another thing is submergent vegetation. If you have submergent vegetation like hydrilla or milfoil, a chatterbait is one of the best tools to be able to catch fish out of that type of cover. And the 4th variable that's going to ensure that you have the best success with a chatterbait is a little bit of wind. A little bit of wind is great because it churns up the water even more. It gets the whole ecosystem just a little bit more active. And so if you end up having those 4 different variables on a fishery, that is the time to start looking to fish a chatterbait and to learn it, because that's when you're going to get the most bites. So shallow water, shallow vegetation, dirty to stained water, and a little bit of wave action or wind action, those are going to ensure that you're fishing it in the right type of scenario so you can gain some confidence in it. The next mistake that I see people make is that they don't fish the right trailers under the circumstances that they're facing. You know, a chatterbait is really cool because you can adjust the profile and the action of the bait just based on, and also the color, based on what trailers you use. You know, and I use a variety of different Elastec trailers from Z-Man. I think Elastec is just a better material for being used as a trailer for a lot of different things. But choosing the right profile trailer is really important, you know, and I switch between two different styles. I have a boot style swim bait trailer like this diesel minnows, or I'm fishing something that is more segmented straight tail design like the ChatterSpike or the Razor Shads. And the biggest difference between those two categories, okay, and there's a lot more that you can use as a trailer on a chatterbait, but those are the two that I really lean on hard. But the biggest difference is that this type of trailer with a boot style tail is going to create more action, but it also creates more drag. So it's actually going to hamper that side to side hunting action that this bait has, that erratic action where the bait all of a sudden hops to one side and then starts running straight again. That hunting action actually gets hampered by these baits that have these paddle tail and a little bit more drag. So whenever I'm trying to get more hunting action, or if I'm trying to fish deeper or try to have more of a glide to the fall when I'm yo-yoing the bait, that's when I like to use those more straight tail designs that don't have as much drag. But I see people all the time just choosing one trailer and fishing under all circumstances with that one trailer is a big mistake that a lot of people make. All right, so the third big mistake that I see people make when they're trying to learn how to fish a chatterbait and they're just not having success is that they use too soft of a rod. So I am a huge believer in fishing a 100% graphite blank rod. Okay, this is a 7.3 medium heavy Versa Series rod. This is my rod choice for chatterbaits and a lot of different things like swim jigs. And the reason why I like a fast action graphite rod with a chatterbait versus like a composite rod, which a lot of people like to use, is because I really like the feel of a graphite rod. Fishing a chatterbait is all about feeling that vibration, knowing what's going on with that bait as far as like, is it fouled up with grass? Did I have a fish swipe at it and miss it? All those things are really important, and you're gonna miss a lot of those things with a rod that has a little bit more parabolic bend to it, a slower action. And so I think it's really important to use a fast action graphite rod for that sensitivity. But also, beyond the sensitivity factor and just knowing what's going on with your bait at all times, having a rod with a pretty solid backbone in a faster action allows you to catch up with fish that push slack in the line. You know, and that's pretty common with a chatterbait is a fish will come up from behind and put like 2 or 3 foot of slack in your line, and you have to catch up to those fish. So a graphite rod a faster action rod is gonna help you do that. And also it's gonna allow you to get better hook sets and be able to free the bait from grass a lot easier because it's just not as sluggish of an action. You can pop that rod tip and really, you know, get that bait free of like hydrilla or milfoil or something like that. So fishing a 100% graphite rod with a medium heavy power and a fast action, I think is a really, really good setup for fishing a chatterbait, and I think it'll make you a better chatterbait angler. All right, everybody, so that pretty much does it for the 3 biggest mistakes that I see people make when they're trying to fish a chatterbait for the first time. It's all about gaining some momentum, and we're all gonna make mistakes when we first start to learn a new technique or bait, and so those are some of the ones that I see people make with this bait, and hopefully this video helps you become a better chatterbait angler, get you some extra bites, and gain some confidence in this awesome bait. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions at all, drop a comment below. Other than that, I'm gonna see you out on the water. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Trust the process.